What happens when one of Hollywood's most private celebrities sits down for what should be a professional interview, only to face a host who's determined to extract personal details she's never shared publicly? Zendaya came to The Late Show to discuss her latest projects. Stephen Colbert came prepared to interrogate her about Tom Holland, their engagement, and why they won't share wedding details. When Zendaya pushed back, Colbert accused her of being difficult. When she tried to redirect, he accused her of hiding something. And when she finally had enough and called out his invasive journalism on live television, the studio went completely silent. This isn't just another celebrity interview gone wrong. This is a defining moment about privacy, respect, and knowing when a host has gone too far. Make sure you watch until the end, because this walkout is legendary. If you subscribed and liked the video, let's get started. The Late Show studio hummed with anticipation as Zendaya made her entrance. At 29, she looked effortlessly elegant, her chocolate brown lobes styled in soft, sophisticated waves, wearing a sleek emerald green blazer over a simple black top. The 5.2-carat diamond engagement ring on her finger caught the studio lights as she waved to the enthusiastic audience. "Zendaya, welcome to The Late Show." Stephen Colbert stood to greet her, his gray hair and plastic frame glasses reflecting the warm studio lighting. "It's so good to have you here. Congratulations are in order, I believe." Zendaya's smile was warm but slightly cautious. "Thank you, Stephen. It's great to be here." As she settled into the guest chair, Colbert leaned forward with that familiar television energy. "You've had quite the year. Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming, Dune Part 3 just wrapped, Euphoria's final season, you're everywhere." "It's been busy," Zendaya laughed, relaxing slightly. "But I'm grateful. Working on these projects with such talented people has been incredible." "And speaking of talented people," Colbert said, and there was a shift in his tone that made Zendaya's smile falter just slightly. "You're working with someone pretty special on Spider-Man, aren't you?" The audience murmured with knowing excitement. This was what they'd come for, not the discussion of craft, but the glimpse into celebrity romance. "Tom and I have been working together for years now," Zendaya said, carefully, her media training kicking in. "He's an amazing actor and your fiancé," Colbert interrupted with a grin. "Come on, you can't just gloss over that. You showed up at the Golden Globes with that ring and broke the internet." Zendaya's hand instinctively moved to cover the ring. "Yes, we're engaged. We're very happy." "That's it?" Colbert pressed. "That's all we get? The world wants details, Zendaya." "I appreciate the interest," Zendaya said, maintaining her composure. "But Tom and I have always kept our relationship private. I'm here to talk about the work, which I'm really excited about." "But the work includes working with your fiancé," Colbert interjected. "Surely, you can give us something. When did he propose? Was it romantic? Did he get down on one knee?" Zendaya's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. "Stephen, I'd really prefer to keep those moments between us. What I can tell you about Spider-Man is—" "Oh, come on," Colbert laughed, but there was an edge to it. "You're one of the biggest stars in the world. You show up wearing a 5-carat diamond and you think people aren't going to want to know about it? I think people can appreciate beautiful jewelry without needing to know every detail of how I got it," Zendaya replied, her voice still controlled but cooling noticeably. The audience was silent now, sensing the shift in energy. "That seems a bit unfair, don't you think?" Colbert leaned back in his chair. "Your fans have supported you through everything. They've made you who you are. Don't you think they deserve a little insight into your life?" Zendaya's eyes flashed. "My fans support my work. They've been incredible supporters of my career. That doesn't mean I owe them access to my private life." "But where's the line?" Colbert pressed on. "You're happy to share the good parts, the red carpets, the awards, the success. But when it comes to your relationship, suddenly everything's off limits." "That's not fair," Zendaya said, her professional facade beginning to crack. "I share my work. I share my passion for these characters and stories. My relationship with Tom is something else entirely." "Is it though?" Colbert challenged. "You met on a movie set. You're working together on another movie. where relationship is intertwined with your career. How can you separate them? The same way you separate your professional life from your personal life, Stephen, Zendaya shot back. I'm sure you don't discuss every detail of your marriage on air. I'm not the one wearing a massive engagement ring to the Golden Globes, Colbert replied smugly. If you didn't want people asking questions, maybe you shouldn't have made such a public display. The audience gasped audibly. This had crossed from playful banter into something uncomfortable. Zendaya sat up straighter. Wearing my engagement ring is a public display? That's my jewelry, Stephen. That's me wearing something that makes me happy. That's not an invitation for interrogation. I'm not interrogating anyone, Colbert said defensively. I'm asking the questions that everyone watching wants answered. Do they? Zendaya challenged. Or is that just what you've decided they want? Colbert tried a different approach, softening his tone. Look, Zendaya, I'm just saying, you and Tom have this beautiful love story. The whole Spider-Man romance becoming real life? People are invested in that. People are invested in a narrative they've created, Zendaya corrected. Tom and I are real people, not characters in a story for public consumption. But you're public figures, Colbert insisted. That comes with certain expectations. Expectations to do our jobs well, Zendaya said firmly. Not expectations to share every intimate detail of our lives. So you won't tell us anything about the proposal? Colbert asked. Nothing about the wedding plans? No, Stephen, I won't. Why not? What are you hiding? The question hung in the air like an accusation. Zendaya stared at Colbert, and everyone watching could see her processing what he'd just said. Hiding? She repeated slowly. You think wanting privacy means I'm hiding something? I think it's suspicious when celebrities are overly secretive, Colbert said, doubling down. Usually when people won't talk about something, it's because there's something to hide. That's incredible, Zendaya said, and her voice had gone cold. So in your mind, setting boundaries equals having something to hide? I'm just saying it raises questions. No, Zendaya interrupted firmly. You're not just saying anything. You're implying that my desire for privacy is somehow suspicious or wrong. I think your fans deserve transparency, Colbert said. Transparency about my work, Zendaya countered, which I've given. I've talked about every project, every character, every creative choice. What I haven't done is turn my relationship into entertainment content. But it is entertainment content, Colbert argued. Whether you like it or not, your relationship with Tom Holland is part of your public narrative. No, Zendaya said, and there was steel in her voice now. My relationship with Tom is my life. It's not content. It's not narrative. It's not public property. Then why wear the ring to such a public event? Because it's my ring. Zendaya's voice rose slightly for the first time. Because I'm proud to be engaged to someone I love. Because I shouldn't have to hide my happiness just to avoid being interrogated about it. The studio was deadly silent. This wasn't entertainment anymore. This was real tension, real emotion. I think you're overreacting, Colbert said dismissively. These are standard questions. Standard? Zendaya cut him off. Stephen, you've spent the last 10 minutes demanding details about the most private moments of my life. You've accused me of being unfair to fans for wanting boundaries. You suggested I'm hiding something because I won't share proposal details. How is any of that standard? Colbert shifted in his seat, clearly not expecting this level of pushback. Look, I'm just trying to have a conversation here. No, you're trying to extract information I've clearly stated I'm not comfortable sharing, Zendaya said. That's not a conversation. That's an interrogation. That's a bit dramatic, Colbert said with a forced laugh. Is it? Zendaya challenged. You've asked me about the proposal in 5 different ways. Each time I've redirected. Each time you've pushed harder. You've questioned my motives, my authenticity, and my relationship with my fans. What would you call that? I call it journalism, Colbert replied defensively. Journalism, Zendaya repeated, and there was something almost pitying in her tone. Stephen, journalism is asking about my craft, about my characters, about the stories I'm telling. This is just gossip dressed up as an interview. I resent that, Colbert said, his face reddening. I'm asking about a major life event that I've made clear is private, Zendaya interjected. The fact that it's major to me is exactly why I don't want to discuss it on television. Can you understand that? I understand you want to have it both ways, Colbert shot back. You want the fame, the platform, the adoration, but none of the scrutiny that comes with it. Zendaya went very still. When she spoke, her voice was quiet but razor sharp. Let me be extremely clear about something, Stephen. I have never, not once, complained about scrutiny of my work. Review my performances, critique my choices, analyze my characters. That comes with the job, and I welcome it. She leaned forward slightly. But my relationship is not my work. My engagement is not a performance. My life with Tom is not a product I'm selling. And the fact that you can't distinguish between my professional life and my personal life says everything about the problem here. The problem, Colbert said, his voice rising, is that celebrities want all the benefits of fame without any of the responsibilities. And what responsibility exactly am I shirking? Zendaya demanded. The responsibility to satisfy curiosity about my love life? The responsibility to turn intimate moments into entertainment? The responsibility to let strangers feel entitled to every aspect of my existence? The responsibility to be accessible to the people who made you famous, Colbert replied. My work made me famous, Zendaya said firmly. My performances, my dedication, the characters I've brought to life, not my relationship status. And I'm incredibly accessible about that work. I'm in this chair right now, ready to discuss any aspect of my career. But you don't want to talk about that, do you? You want gossip. I want to give people what they're interested in, Colbert said. No, Zendaya corrected. You want to give people what you think they should be interested in. There's a difference. Fine, Colbert said, clearly frustrated now. Let me ask you this. Why are you and Tom so secretive? Most couples at your level are more open. Because we're not most couples, Zendaya replied. We're two people who fell in love and want to protect that. Is that really so difficult to understand? It's difficult to accept when you're public figures, Colbert insisted. Why? Zendaya asked simply. Why should being good at my job mean I forfeit the right to privacy in my personal life? Explain that logic to me. Because that's the deal, Colbert said. That's always been the deal with fame. No, Zendaya said, standing up slowly. That's the deal you've decided on. That's the deal that serves you, as a talk show host who needs content. But it's not a deal I ever agreed to. The movement, her standing, sent a shock through the studio. This wasn't scripted. Sit down, Colbert said, trying to regain control. We're not done. Actually, Zendaya said calmly, reaching for her lapel mic, I think we are. Zendaya, come on. Colbert's voice had a note of panic now. Don't be difficult. Difficult, Zendaya repeated, pausing and removing her microphone. Stephen, I came here to talk about my work. I've been nothing but professional. You're the one who spent this entire interview trying to violate my boundaries. And when I finally stood up for myself, I'm being difficult? You're walking out over a few questions about your fiancé? Colbert said incredulously. I'm walking out, Zendaya corrected, because you've made it clear that you have zero respect for the boundaries I've set. Because you've accused me of being suspicious, unfair, and irresponsible, all for wanting to keep my personal life personal. She set her microphone on the chair. My personal life is not your entertainment content, Stephen. It's not your viewers' entertainment content. It's my life. This is ridiculous, Colbert sputtered. Over some questions about your boyfriend? Fiancé, Zendaya corrected sharply. And it's not about the questions. It's about your inability to accept no as an answer. It's about you treating my privacy like it's unreasonable. It's about you suggesting I owe strangers details about the most intimate moments of my life. The audience was frozen, watching this unprecedented moment unfold. You're making a huge mistake, Colbert warned. People are going to think you can't handle basic interview questions. Zendaya smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. People who respect boundaries will understand completely. People who think celebrities are public property will probably side with you. And you know what? I'm okay with that. She turned to the cameras, addressing the audience directly. To anyone watching who feels entitled to know every detail of my life, you're not. To anyone who thinks wanting privacy means having something to hide, it doesn't. And to any young perfumer watching this who's being told they have to sacrifice their personal life for their career, you don't. This is absurd, Colbert said, standing now as well. You're turning a normal interview into some kind of political statement. It's not political to want respect, Zendaya interrupted. It's not political to set boundaries. It's basic human dignity. I've shown you nothing but respect, Colbert protested. No, Zendaya said firmly. You've shown me exactly what you think respect looks like, which apparently means ignoring everything I've said about what I'm comfortable discussing. She straightened her blazer. Here's the thing, Stephen. In a few years, when you look back on this interview, I hope you'll understand why this happened. I hope you'll recognize that treating guests with actual respect means honoring their boundaries, not just being polite while you violate them. Are you seriously lecturing me about interviewing? Colbert's face was red now. I'm explaining why I'm leaving, Zendaya said calmly. You've decided my privacy is less important than your content. I disagree. And unlike some people, when my boundaries aren't respected, I don't stick around. She walked toward the edge of the set, then paused. For what it's worth, I really did come here excited to talk about the work, about Spider-Man, about Dune, about Euphoria. I could have talked for an hour about those projects. But you weren't interested in that. You wanted gossip, and I'm not in the business of providing it. With that, Zendaya walked off the Late Show set, leaving behind a stunned audience, a flustered host, and a moment that would define the ongoing conversation about celebrity privacy and media responsibility. The cameras stayed on Colbert as he stood there, clearly struggling to process what had just happened. Finally, he turned to the audience with a strained smile. Well, he said, his voice tight, I guess we'll go to commercial. But everyone watching knew that no commercial break could fix what had just occurred. One of Hollywood's most respected young stars had just drawn a line in the sand, and the entire industry was watching. So there you have it, the moment Zendaya shut down Stephen Colbert's invasive questioning and walked off The Late Show, creating one of the most important conversations about celebrity privacy in years. What started as a promotional interview became a masterclass in boundary setting and a powerful statement about the difference between public figures and public property. Was Zendaya right to walk out? Should she have handled it differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit subscribe for more celebrity interview breakdowns, and let me know what other confrontations you'd like covered. Because if this taught us anything, it's that respecting boundaries isn't optional. It's essential.